Hey everyone, Mike here today with some thoughts here on Slime Rancher 2. I'm playing this on launch day for early access. I'm out today on September 2nd. It's available on Game Pass, which is wonderful. I did a video, I believe last week is when it would have published on the first Slime Rancher game. And I think that game was pretty fun. I had some fun playing with it. I put in, several hours before kind of putting it aside and going through my Steam backlog. Of course, not that a sequel has come out. Go ahead and continue here. Only got about 5-10 minutes in this so far, so we'll be playing through kind of the early game, kind of showing you what's going on, and go from there. So Slime Rancher, if you don't know about it, it's a pretty straightforward game. You have various different slimes who like to eat different things, and keeping them in enclosures here. I want to try and keep him happy. Now this slime here must be slightly hungry because he's trying to escape. He wants to eat some of these chickens. I don't really want him to do that. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to buy our walls. Eliminate that chance that he's going to escape and start eating my chickens there. Ideally, I want to harvest a bunch of them. Actually, we do have quite a few of them. Could feed some of these slimes. Anyways, we'll fill up this pen. A bunch of other slimes. As you'll see, they're all gonna try and get to those chickens because they are a bit hungry. So, we'll, go find some food real quick. So the main loop of this game is really kind of what I've been doing, right? You go in the wild, you might find a couple of slimes, you put them in a pen, keep them happy, and every time you feed them, they'll output a different kind of port. They poop out these little gems, and those gems, you can pick them up for money. That's kind of how you fuel your expeditions and stuff. Look at that, and just... Okay. Flavor text. Fair enough. So, yeah, we got a couple other various mutations, but evolution, you can see. So one of the things you can do is you can kind of evolve them. And so when you have two slimes, they consume each other's plorts, which are those little gems that they poop out. They will gain the attribute of the other kind of slime, right? That's why we have these larger pink bunnies, because one of the pond slimes ate pink slime, or the other way around. So the advantage of that, of course, is if you're farming different slimes, go ahead and do that. And you get the advantage of, hey, every time you feed them, you keep them happy, they'll output one of each. So you'll have two different gems that they'll output, which is... See, these guys are getting pretty close to actually escaping. So we can feed a couple of them. Feed them. At least the ones who are fed, they will calm down a little. But the other ones will unfortunately want to try and escape and eat whatever's closest to them. I'm gonna try and keep those guys happy. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take those plorts, those little gems there. Here's kind of the pricing chart. So we're gonna get rid of these. As you can see, the con ones worth quite a bit more than the pink slime. However, those other pink, the con slimes do have slightly different dietary requirements. So what we're going to do is we don't really need this many slimes. I'm gonna trim it down. I'm gonna keep a couple, but not keep one. 5, at least for now, 5 is... If we want more pink slimes, so... out here. And so the main loop of the game is to go out in the wild, kind of explore around, find some interesting things like this. We'll find different foods and different kinds of slimes. And we'll kind of slowly build up our farm, try and make it as sustainable as possible. And so once you've got a good foundation laid down, you're growing a lot of different foods within your farm, and the slimes that are there, you get a fairly consistent income. Then you might find yourself trying to get some more difficult to maintain slime, things like that. Now with the first game, there's really no failure per se. You didn't feed them enough, well, they got a little agitated, as you can see, and they tried to escape. Now you can really keep them in the enclosure by buying higher walls, putting a ceiling, and all sorts like that. So you do have tools available there, but that also costs money. It's a tough thing to deal with. Now usually these are toys. I don't know what this one is. Could be a toy. Anyways, this one here, you can see how agitated he is and how much he's jumping. So as soon as I feed them, he's not really jumping anymore. Same with this guy here, I can feed him. He can be fed. And they generally calm down. What I'll do is I'll feed them all some extra carrots. And we'll leave a little bit of extra food. Go ahead and get that chicken. Reabsorb everything here. We'll pop the carrots back down. I'm keeping one of them in my inventory right now just to show how the whole farming aspect works. Then deposit that. So in the first game, when you got really late into the game, I did start getting some tools to sort of automate some of this stuff. And so I'd be able to get like a feeder, for instance, that allowed me to automatically queue up food, get different upgrades. Yeah, music box, air net, so it stops them from jumping out. Solar shield, plort collector, as well, so I don't have to go in and try and collect them. Built-in vacuum for me. The collector becomes useful because, as I kind of hinted to, some of these slimes get a little bit more dangerous. You don't necessarily want to walk into the enclosure if you don't have to. Yeah, let's see. I need a little bit more coin. See if we can find one in the wild. Otherwise, we'll just get some more food. Something other. Yeah, it's very much a relaxing game. A whole lot going on with it. Is exactly what a lot of people want who played first Slime Rancher, and so far this one seems to offer a little bit more of something. Yeah, graphics look nicer, clearly more room at the base off the bat. The game in general seems larger, the map seems a little bit more complex already, so I'll be curious to see how far they go. Looking at the kind of what the outline or what they're talking about as far as early access goes, they intend for this to be early access for at least 18 months, a little bit more than a year. It's perfectly fine. I'm not too sure how much content it has, obviously, I just started playing it today. Yeah. Oh, it's alright. We'll deal with that guy later. So that's another mechanic that I'll But yeah, early access plans obviously always subject to change, you know, depending how much this game picks up and how many people play and so on and so forth. Obviously, they want to make a good game, right? And yeah, a lot of people love the original. So far, this one, despite having been just released, pretty positive reviews. Yeah, I think that's about it. Back. And deposit some coins. Get. I think as we saw one of the bigger slimes wants fruit. Set up either a pogo fruit or cube. Trying to remember what that favorite fruit would have been for that particular slime from the first game, and I don't remember. So we built the garden. We can specify which fruit or vegetable we want to grow. Go with the cube berry, just neat and different. And so there you go. We are now growing our own berries. We can also buy upgrades, like the other plots or the other closures. Buy various upgrades to help speed up the process. I can buy different upgrades here for the chickens as well. Can help a lot. Oh, the elder collectors. So yeah, your chickens eventually age out. They get old. They're no longer useful in producing new chicks. So you use them as food for limes that prefer meat. Yeah, I think that's about it. Really not a whole lot else to this game, really, and that's okay. What people want. I will say graphically, this definitely seems like a bit of an improvement. In fact, I'm going to go here in the options and point out a couple things. I'm running a frame rate limiter just to keep the game performing reasonably well and not just max out my system for no reason. I'm on a 1080 Ti. I can run it at around 110 at 2K resolution, so yeah, 60 frames is okay. There's a bit of weirdness with the frame pacing, so whatever they're using for limiting the frame rate, it's not perfect. They have frame pacing issues, it's not ideal. You can get a bit of a jitteriness. I think sometimes you can notice it when looking at certain. You can see their movements. There's a bit of a jitteriness to their movement. If I take off the frame rate limiter, it's better. It's a minor thing. It's something they could probably work on. Beyond that, field of view, I'm more of a 90-degree plus kind of guy. Not everyone's preference, obviously. They go up to 100. I'll leave it at 70 because that's a more comfortable setting for me. Beyond that, I was going to point out that graphically this game is a little strange. The default is on lowest right now, but I changed everything. Depth of field isn't too bad. Ambient Occlusion, if you put it on high, is extremely demanding. So if you are having performance issues, their Ambient Occlusion implementation should be. And depth of field as well, I noticed a little bit more of a performance drop. So just keep those two in mind. Also anti-aliasing, don't put it on FMA if you're having performance problems that you'll probably afford. I don't know, it's a 1080 Ti. One of the things I did run into with the first game, which I'm not seeing in this one, CPU usage actually seems lower. So yeah, CPU in this one is actually really good for me. But beyond that, yeah, no real complaints. no real problems. I think plays pretty well. Looks pretty good. But that we're nighttime, we get phosphor slimes coming out. They want fruit, but I wish I knew what fruit they have to have. Are those? Would have to have fruit with. All right. So one of the sort of dangers here is oh, we already maxed out on carrots. One of the kind of dangers here is if one of these large slimes eats port from one of the phosphor. At least in the first game, they became like tar. Not a fun thing. But yeah, if any of these Largo slimes would eat a different third kind of, usually you kind of corrupt them. That's kind of the only aggressive or hostile creature you'll run into. Those tars will chase you for a while. Yeah, not a whole lot to it. You can outrun them pretty easily. You eventually get different countermeasure to them as well. So not really a big danger or worry. However, that's kind of the only real dangerous aspect. This game is just dealing with those guys when they run. You have to keep that in mind. Otherwise, not really a big issue. I thought he was down. Oh yeah, he's up. Are the pogo fruits the favorite? No, okay. So the cube berry might actually be his favorite. Give him all but one. I will go back to the base. These plorts. Go feed my other group of buddies. I should probably swap out the pink slime actually for the bunny one. I forget what they're called. It's because they will pay out. That's kind of what you're trying to deal with at the beginning. Nothing really costs money in this game. Or rather, you don't have maintenance costs to worry about. You're just trying to get more income quickly as just to, you know, help yourself progress and get further into the game. That's ultimately you're gonna be trying to do most. Grab those. Send them back out on their way. These phosphor slimes are gonna disappear soon as daytime runs by. That's why some of the enclosure options are things like solar shields, so you can keep them alive during daytime. Your alternative option, of course, is just keep them indoors, because you can do that. There are different regions of the map where you can keep some of these slimes, for instance. Oh, there's one of the tar guy. He'll eat other slimes. What we're gonna do is just one more of these. We're just gonna run away. Run away from these problems. Usually the tar slimes will kind of deal with themselves. They'll corrupt an area for a bit. Eventually they run out of stuff to eat and corrupt. Come back later after a couple minutes. Alternatively, you can also pick them up and get rid of them. You can shoot them off the edge of the map. That's all option 2. I'm gonna pick up this pink one. Actually, yeah, I'll show that. Alright, so if I let him let him eat the plort here. Might not do it. One of these slimes might do it. The advantage you get is they wind up. Actually, I'm not gonna let them. The advantage you get is that they end up depositing both types of gems. So if he eats a pink slime gem, he becomes a giant pink conplort, or a giant, a largo rather, a large one. It'll be like a pink con or a con pink, whatever. And the other advantage you get is like their diet is just vegetables. Now if I get another one and I mix one with like the pink slime, they then start inheriting the diets from the other slime as well. So I can have pretty much a diet of everything. But they may still prefer vegetables given the choice. But yeah, looking at the chart here, it wouldn't make sense to farm pink and the bunnies there, because pink is still the cheapest one. So if anything, the firefly ones, the phosphorus during the nighttime, would make more sense given the option. The other nice thing of having these con slimes here is even if they do escape, they're not going to eat the chickens because they don't eat. It'll be a little bit safe that way. The downside is because they only eat vegetables. I do vegetable. Go ahead and do that. Build the garden. Throw a carrot in there, so we'll start growing some carrots. Harvest berries. Try and feed that out of is there a map? Yeah, there's a map. Alright. So yeah, there's two other areas of the map which we haven't looked at, and then third area for seems to be a lot more. But currently only this area to the right is available to me. Usually the other two areas you buy or unlock stuff to get there. So at least for now, since we're so early in the game, can't really take advantage of it. But kind of at a later time, we'll definitely be able to expand and have more slimes, more different farms, more stuff in general. Keep me going. Oh hey, we have enough to build another. Going. Now get these fruits going. Yeah, generally food, kind of your key thing. The more food you have, the more often you keep your slime happy. I'm gonna grab a phosphor slime. One. Few berries. Oh, weird. That's a new. Huh. Anyways. Yeah, you learn about them that way. I don't know if you remember the corruption from earlier. It's kind of. It's fun. We'll find a space for the phosphor. I'd say 10 is usually good. Now, one of the big downsides with phosphorus tend to fly. Gotta be a little bit careful. And that's kind of another thing too, is you start mixing different slimes together. You start running into some of those problems. You have slimes that are particularly good at flying or escaping away and stuff. They combine it with another one, or yeah, is a good example. You have one slime that's really good at flying, and then you have another one that's able to jump a lot. Not necessarily the smartest combination of slimes to keep together. It is what it is. This here seems to be a gem. I have to open a new area. Interesting. Okay. So now you know what you do with those giant ones. You slightly overfeed them, and then they kind of unlock another path, and that's how you do it. I believe these things are not actually toys. In fact, containers have resources. Do that bit. This. I have a bunch of fruit. Those guys want to eat. Can take. I guess. Case? Yeah, okay, that's what it was. Cool. Well, throw that carrot in there. A new different kind of hen. There are different kinds of chicken. You can stick them in the same enclosure. So we'll start getting some stony chicks. So different kinds of chicken. I think we'll wrap it up soon. Let's see if the ground. What is nothing? Didn't really have much. Bottom area. At the base, yep. Yeah, here's different regions I can purchase if I wanted to. Trying to. If there's. It looks like there's nothing. Alright. So if I wanted to actually keep these phosphor slimes alive, building it. But yeah, like the first game, there's all sorts of different upgrades for various modules and things that you can manage of. You can start seeing how there are different plorts here. Those all correspond to different kinds of slimes. Abilities, warp protection. All of these are empty, probably because I've not unlocked anything yet. The refinery here is usually where you deposit resources to spend them on those upgrades. That's it. Yeah. That's good. And we're approaching half an hour, so really have too much else to add. This is really the main loop of the game. Go around, you explore further and further as you progress through the game. Try and keep your slimes as happy as possible, and you spend some time farming stuff. Generally having some fun. Keep it thing. So we're gonna grab a bunch of carrots, feed slimes. I need to buy an enclosure. Don't think I have enough to put the solar net. How much? Ooh. These phosphor slimes are not going to be, unfortunately. Yeah, like I said, I think in the first game, actually the first game I did not have you did not have an underground area for that. If you wanted to keep them, you would have to buy expansion area. They're kind of expensive. The idea being that you should spend the amount of time required to finish one area before you start expanding to. But these cotton plorts worth a lot more than just basic pink ones. You can rack up resources pretty quickly. Unfortunately, I can't. Have the hens and the fruit. I don't really have anyone to give them to. It's not fun. Yeah. I think that's about it. We've hit 30 minutes. So this gives you a pretty good idea what to expect out of this game. It's, you know, it's, like I said, it's very simple. It's very relaxing. It's pretty rewarding too at the same time. I could see this not necessarily being of everyone's interest, because it is a very different game. However, like I said, Steam reviews for the first one were overwhelmingly positive. A lot of people who just love playing this game, and I see why. It's a very chill, relaxing thing. No real stress or anything to worry about. You know, you don't have to. Not feeding them. Yeah, they'll get a little jumpy. They'll get a little grumpy. Not really gonna have any real problems. Those chill vibe kind of games. Definitely worth a look at. I am playing this on Game Pass. Like I said, it is early access. It just launched today. And yeah, it's not a particularly expensive game either. You know, it's not a cheap one either. It does retail $29.99 US or $33.99 Canadian. It is a little bit more expensive. Having said that, also pretty fun. Hey, we got new. That's cool. I'm not sure if this is water I can stand in. I'm not gonna take that chance. Usually the water, yeah. Usually the water along this feels slightly different color that you should stand in. Anyways, I'll be interested in seeing what more this game has to offer. So far, it's definitely feels like the expected evolution after playing the first one. Who knows? I have some more stuff that I've seen yet. Pretty cool. Either way, until then, hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you guys next week with some other gameplay videos.